of the fantasy leagues I have, and I just started blasting it out there, and a couple of the guys were like, "Oh, dude, this is really good stuff." And one of them said he's like, "I didn't know you guys had a site." I'm like, "I told you 100 times, shut your mouth." So, well, I subscribed, and
Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Heat Seekers podcast. I'm your host, Rick Butts, here with the legendary Brad Menendez. I don't know if you all seen it, but we dropped an awesome video today. For those looking for 2020 rookie content, it's starting, and we have a lot planned. Three-part series on every player that we cover, starting with college evaluation. Then the second part will be after the NFL Combine. And then there will be a third and final, which will be after they are drafted and evaluating everything up to that point plus their landing spot, so that you have all the information you need when it comes time for rookie drafts. And most of those are going to be in April, May, and I'm looking forward to it. It's my favorite time of the year, but we have a lot of work to do before we get there. And today we dropped the first one. DeAndre Swift, running back from Georgia, had some differing opinions on him, but we're excited to get those out there. So make sure you get over to YouTube. You can go to rotoheat.com/YouTube and check that out. Make sure you subscribe so you get the notifications when we drop new rookie content. Um, just on a general note, it's the semifinals for most fantasy football leagues. I don't know about you, Brad. I had three matches last week, and I was looking good at one point in all three, and then I got smoked in one, and I knew I was out of it before Monday night. And then the other one, I needed 7 points from Alshon Jeffrey. And dude died before he scored a point. The most frustrating part is that he had his man beat on like the first or second play of the game, and Carson Wentz threw the ugliest ball in the world to him. And if he would have caught that, he may have got me those points on that one play before he got hurt. But Wentz sucked. The whole game sucked. I turned it off after Alshon went out, and I was looking at the box score, and I'm like, this is trash. I mean, Boston Scott was like the second leading scorer in that game, and so I ended up I had a buy in one league, so I've got two teams going into the semifinals. How about you?
yeah, I've got two of my dynasties. I'm in the playoffs and then I have two redrafts that I'm in the semifinals as well because I still have a few redrafts with people, uh, just for the fun of it. So I got a few where I'm still active. I did. It was funny. One of the dynasties I'm not in, but our league chat is very active. I was at the gym, that on Monday night watching the game while I was working out, and um, the dude the dude was posting. And he's like, "Oh, if Darius Slayton goes off and he kicks me out of the playoffs, Darius Slayton and Eli Manning beat me. I'm going to be pissed." And Darius Slayton goes off.
Well,
He said that at the beginning of the game, and I just laughed. I was like, "You just jinxed yourself."
I felt so bad because uh, Custer, Nate, and Mitch and I have a chat that we talk throughout the week every week, and I said I like Slayton, but I don't like Slayton with Eli Manning. Like that combo just doesn't fit. And I don't know if it was Eli Manning, well, the first one was kind of a fluke because the tackling was just like middle school type tackling. But he balled out the rest of the game, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I was like, Slayton would not even be in consideration for me last week. I would not have played him. He and Eli together does not seem like a good fit. I would have played Golden Tate. I would have played Sterling Shepard. But Slayton balled out, and it's just one of those things. We say it. If we only knew half of what we think we know, we'd be doing all right. And it definitely played out last week. I I don't know, man. Eli, really? I need
Yeah,
Daniel Jones back this week versus you. That's all I know.
that's not going to happen. He's out already again, isn't he?
Did they already say he was out? That's
Yeah,
I've
I th-
not paid attention.
I thought I heard that Eli was going to be starting again, definitely this week, and they
Oh
drafted that.
God, no. So we only have one quarterback to play against you.
Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah.
I'm loving that. I needed
Luckily,
to.
we have stud wide receivers and can hopefully make up for most of it. But
That'd be great
um,
because I may only be playing one quarterback because I'm probably going to wind up starting Goff next to Tannehill, and you never know. Goff is either a 20-pointer or a 5-pointer, so
well, I hope he's
it
a
may not.
5-pointer this week because Stafford's not going to be back, right?
No, no, no.
No.
Stafford, they're just lying to themselves. Not putting him on IR is silly. They should have put him on IR a month ago.
Yeah. Complex Legend over on YouTube. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Isaiah Newman, we appreciate the compliment. I'm confident. I don't know if I'd say we're the best in the biz, but we're trying.
We are working our butts off. Complex Legend. My team is so stacked this week. I'm assuming he's saying I have no choice but to bench Austin Eckler. I don't know how you bench Austin Eckler this season. The dude
Well,
just,
if you're stacked, it's
well,
the only way
you
you
got
can
to
do
be,
it.
you got to be really stacked.
Well,
Austin Eckler is just so good.
some of these rosters that I've seen, I'm just like I'm envious because I'm like, how do you get those players on one roster? Um,
The tougher thing for me, and going back to the Darius Slayton stuff, is what do you do if you're a fantasy owner next year? Like this, yeah, he's played pretty well on a really kind of rough offense. Like I can't imagine this guy's got long term staying power. Like it just seems like kind of I don't know if he's really that valuable long term.
I don't know, man. I think that he has proven to be pretty dynamic. Wasn't a guy that I had on my radar at the beginning of the year, and then you're always skeptical at the beginning, but he continues to produce. He's shown that he can make stuff happen after getting the ball in his hands, and I think that's the most you can ask for out of a wide receiver. He's obviously getting open, and he's done it with Daniel Jones and with Eli Manning now. So I think that he's somebody that you have to take serious. There was that question between, who's more valuable, him or who would you rather have, him or Preston Williams? And I was definitely full on Preston Williams at the time. Kind of the same story, undrafted guys or late picks. I can't remember if Slayton was undrafted or if he was picked in like the seventh or something, but
Look, I know Williams is undrafted.
yeah. So, um, obviously Williams, both of them in bad situations, both of them, produced. Williams was the guy for
As
Miami before he was hurt, and you know, Parker has. That's the other thing. Like everybody's on Parker, and he's going to be high, and he's going to be overvalued. Next off season. But he didn't even start getting his targets until. I mean, he was getting decent targets because they only had two options. But I mean, his production really jumped without Preston Williams on the field.
Slayton was a fifth round pick from New York.
Fifth round, okay. My QB is up in the air this week on who I'm going to start, but I got Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, Christian McCaffrey, Chris Carson, Zach Ertz, and Chris Godwin. Yeah, that's
Yeah, true story.
must be nice, buddy. I'm happy for you. Dacor Winston for the semifinals, and and I apologize to everybody. I've been so busy this week. I don't have I didn't study anything tonight. We're gonna just be doing general news and answering questions. So I'm gonna get the schedule up here so I can make sure I look at these matchups because I haven't even looked for my own teams yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Winston against Detroit looks like it would be a great matchup. The thing I worry about is Detroit just put Marvin Jones on IR this week, so that means they have even less offensive talent. And, I could easily see it getting out of hand where Tampa Bay just starts trying to run the ball and control the clock, which means there's no passing going on. That matchup worries me. That's why I posted about wondering if I should even play Brashad Perriman this week, because Detroit's brutal. Like they're not putting up points. Tampa Bay's defense is good,
they
but not great.
blow. Would you say they blow?
Yeah, they're definitely blowing all over the place.
um, Yeah, I think I go with a game that could end up being a shootout. And that's, Dak, even in a game where he did not play good last week against Chicago, even when you look at the week before against Buffalo, he's going to have to throw a lot, I think. It looks like the Rams. It's weird. The Bears and the Rams played. They looked horrendous. They looked like two teams that had no business being on an NFL field, and both of the offenses have been good since they faced each other. And I think they're going to put up points against Dallas, and he's going to have to throw. So I think I go with Dak in that game because I do think that the Buccaneers are going to be favored against the Lions, and even though their running game's not very good, with Winston's hand hurt, I could see them handing the ball off more than they normally do in that game for sure.
Agreed. Uh, Complex Legend over on YouTube asked, "Who do you guys think I should start? Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins, or Ryan Tannehill?" I typed in the chat Tannehill because I am actually starting Tannehill this week.
Um, I gotta pull that up because
Minnesota's facing LA
so what? No, who?
Chargers.
Where we at here?
Uh,
Brady, Cousins, or Tannehill?
yep.
It's not Brady right now.
No.
Um, it's not Brady. Uh, I think their stretch, they're going to run the ball a lot. Um, I don't expect them to be losing to the Bengals. So I think there's going to be a lot of running there. Um, let's see. Tennessee versus the Texans. That's definitely a good matchup for Tannehill. And the other one was Cousins, right?
Yeah, he's going against the Chargers.
Chargers are putting their offense is moving right now too, so it would definitely come down to Cousins and Tannehill for me. And with Thielen coming back, I tend to trust Cousins more than I trust Tannehill with literally their one passing option. Corey Davis isn't doing anything. I don't know if Humphreys will be back. He missed last week. Jonu's done a little bit, but I think I go with the guy that has Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, and even throw in the Dalvin Cook because we know Tannehill doesn't throw to um, Derrick Henry. So that dude just rushes for 180 yards every game. So that also takes out of the passing offense. So Tannehill's been putting up numbers though. I know that, but I I think I hedge on the back of the guy with good fantasy options. And Vikings aren't really stopping anybody in the passing game either. So there's a chance that the Chargers are going to put up some points, and that's going to be kind of a shootout there.
Can't argue that one.
Texans are going to put up points too, though, with Deshaun Watson and them guys. So, um, but I think I trust Cousins a little bit more, and that's funny to say that we're down to, am I starting Cousins or Tannehill, and it's legit options, and it's not just like, oh shit, my guy's died. Both of
Well,
these guys can put up points.
well, and both of them are running towards the playoffs. Like both teams are in contention for wild card spots, so they're going to be playing to win. They're going to be playing their tails off. Especially with Tannehill and the Titans. They're playing for the division. Houston and them are either like at the same record or maybe a game apart. So both games will be competitive. So you would expect the quarterbacks are going to be putting the ball up.
Yeah.
You know, so either one, I think you're really going to get good value and should get a decent game out of both of them. So if you like Cousins more than Tannehill, that's fine either way.
I truly think it's basically a 50-50 toss. It's just we've seen it out more out of Cousins in his career than we have Tannehill. So in that respect, when they're that close, I lean a little more towards that because I'm a little more confident in that. But you can't take away from the recent production that Tannehill's put together. But what happens if AJ Brown doesn't go for 100? Where's the production coming from in the passing game? Because they're not getting it from anybody else.
No, it's funny though. Think a year back where we have been thinking about Tannehill getting a possible contract a big money contract for his play. Like, it's just
You
crazy
know,
how he played.
I said it at the beginning of the year, and people thought I was nuts. I was on these Titans guys when nobody else was. And Tannehill literally had trash for the most of the time that he was in Miami. And not only that, but he just didn't stay on the field either. So there were times where he looked good, like when he had Landry. There were times where they looked good, they just didn't go down the field. And he's going down the field a little bit more. A.J. Brown's dynamic. It's
Right.
crazy that, I was telling people, like, this, you better be taking this dude in the top 6 of your drafts. And he was falling to the second round a lot. And
Right.
the dude's so good, but everybody's like, it's Tennessee. Like, he ain't going to do nothing. That boy's good. And, you know, I'm disappointed in Corey Davis. I'm losing faith in Corey Davis because I thought with Tannehill coming in, it was going to help him. And it's only helped A.J. Brown. Humphreys that helped for a little bit. Jonnu's flashed. But Davis, like, he starts every game with 1 for 27 or 1 for 33 and then nothing the rest of the game. And it's like, you're like, oh,
He's so good.
this is going to be the game. And then
Yeah, I
it's
know.
not. So
I like him so much, but he's in the
so what's going to happen this week is A.J. Brown's going to score like 6 points. And Tajay Sharp's going to score like 24. Because that's just the way it goes. You get to the playoffs, you're like, yes, A.J. Brown, good. And then Tajay Sharp comes out of nowhere and scores that 20 bomb. He does it like once or twice every year, just out of nowhere. And I know that's going to happen this week. So, um, yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not playing Tajay Sharp. I'm playing Tannehill and Derrick Henry though.
um, Ryan Griffin, the tight end that kind of saved a lot of people because he had some pretty solid production there until last week. Same roster I had Alshon, I also had Ryan Griffin. 1.8 right off the bat starts the game. I'm like, yeah, give me 12 points. I'm happy. 1.8 because I think he left in the early second quarter or something, and nothing. But he is out tomorrow night. So if you are looking to find a replacement for him, it's a little late in the season to be doing that. I actually have a decision to make. Okay, I have Ryan Griffin hurt. I have Jesper Horsted, or do I play the veterans, Jimmy Graham or Tyler Eifert? And I feel like it's not Eifert.
I think you have to go with Jimmy Graham, but that's just not a sexy option.
See, I don't know. I don't think I do have to go with Jimmy Graham. It is a hard decision to make. I think the upside is with Horsted because the Bears are using the tight end more, but there is Holtz there too. It's just disgusting that I have to make that decision. Thank you, Ryan Griffin, for getting injured and missing tomorrow's game. I appreciate it. So,
And that's a tough thing is you're forcing yourself to hope that they use both the tight ends in that way. I mean, that's
he's going to
you
get
know,
targets in that offense the way they're running it now. Because if Nagy goes backwards and then quits letting Mitch do what he's doing right now, then I'm going to throw stuff. I'm going to break stuff. I'm going to have a fit.
yeah. I
Because
mean, the tough thing is you're probably only going to get 3 to 5 targets for him. Then, I mean, because they're both probably going to get real similar in the target share. And
what
are you okay with that?
am I guaranteed to get more than that with Jimmy Graham though?
Probably not.
That's the problem.
Who's Green Bay facing this week? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Jimmy Graham doesn't do well. I mean,
that's my that
that's the
like
tough thing.
that's my whole thing. Who do they play? Oh, they play the
Let's see.
Bears. Yeah. I think I have to
Ah,
go with
yeah, you got to go with.
I think I got to go with Jesper just so I don't have to root against my team. It's disgusting. It's not sexy. It's not fun, but I can't I am going to look at the usage here of Jimmy Graham in recent weeks and see.
He got 5 targets against the Redskins, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. I mean, he's
So he's not even being used as much as uh, Horsted has been used since they brought him up.
Yeah. He had 5 targets last week. Other than that, it's not a lot.
Isaiah says, I'm embarrassed to ask, but who has the safest floor? Julio at San Fran or Washington versus Jacksonville, assuming Jacobs doesn't play? I have to. I mean, Jacobs was real close to playing last week, so I have a feeling he's going to play unless some other news came out that I missed. But I just think that Julio gets the targets. We saw last week what, you know, San Francisco's not like complete shutdown like we thought they were.
Well,
They,
plus Richard Sherman's hurt. He might be done for the year.
yeah. So, I mean, they just gave up 45 points to the Saints, and we know that Atlanta's going to throw the ball a lot, and probably more in that game because they will shut down the run. So,
Right.
I think I go with Julio and don't, you know. How many fantasy points did Washington end up scoring last week in PPR format?
It was like 20 something, wasn't it? Let's see here. Yeah, 9 hours ago it was posted that Josh Jacobs is expected to return from a shoulder injury this week. So let's see here. Last week.
Make sure that you drop your questions in the chat if you have anything that you want to have answered or just general chat. I mean, we don't have like a subject today. We're talking about just everything that's going on around the NFL. So if you have any questions and we can give any sort of insight, we are happy to do so.
21 points last week for Washington.
And what, 7.7 came on one play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely play Julio in that situation. It doesn't look sexy with, San Fran there, but they're a little banged up in the secondary, and Julio's Julio. He's gonna get his targets, and Ridley's gonna be out too, right?
Yeah, Ridley's done for the year. He's on IR as
Yep.
well.
So there's more.
There's a ton of guys that went on IR even just in the last 2 days. Um,
I've
you
missed
know,
so much. Where
well,
have I been?
so let's see here. Let's go down the list while we're getting questions in. Let's see here. Marquise Goodwin was put on
Oh
IR.
yeah.
He's back. Um, let's go down here. I had it up until I was looking for stats. Now I've lost my notes.
Good job, Brad. Dead air.
I know.
Dead
It was
air.
dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air.
Mike Evans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mike Evans. Marvin Jones was put on IR. Let's see here. Adam Vinatieri for you kicker lovers.
Maurice Jones-Drew announces that Derrick Henry should become the NFL's top-paid running back.
Was that a stand-up special?
Like honestly, and I've always said this, from a pure running standpoint, Derrick Henry is one of the best in the league. He's going to get you rushing yards. When it comes to fantasy, I play in all PPR. He has to do a lot, score a lot of touchdowns, and rush for a lot more yards to make up for not having those 60 receptions that a lot of those top tier guys get. This year, the receptions are down. We talked about it last week. There's a lot of guys that aren't getting the receptions that they got in the past. So if that trend continues to go that way, where they're not utilized as much in the passing game, Derrick Henry's value goes up from a fantasy perspective. I think he's great for. It's the same thing as Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard was a better runner for Chicago than he was for fantasy. Now he might have ended up being running back 14 or 15, but that's because there's just not that many running backs.
Right. Yeah. I mean, especially the way.
If he caught the ball, just imagine in those seasons he was in Chicago, and even this year before he was injured in Philly, if he caught 4 to 5 balls a game, he would have been a mid-tier running back 1. You
Yep.
got to catch the ball. Now, if this NFL keeps trending that way, we're going to have to rethink that. Um, but I mean, what running back is better at running the ball than him right now?
None. I mean, he's really doing it. I mean, he's playing hurt too. You know, he's got that. I think he's got a high ankle that he's been kind of bummed by. But yeah, the Redskins also placed Geis on IR.
Yeah.
We've got Alshon Jeffrey is on IR with a foot injury from Monday night. So you've seen quite a few guys, quite a few startable players going to IR. Oh, Auden Tate also went to IR for you Bengals fans out there. He kind of fell off, but
Did John Ross make it through his first game back?
I don't see anything on John Ross. So
He made it through a game.
He made it through a game, but
Congratulations, John Ross.
didn't do much, I'm sure. Let's see here. Yeah, John Ross is limited at practice, but he did make it through. He's back on the injury report, though. So what do you expect?
Lamar Jackson is questionable for tomorrow night, but he is expected to play. Dude,
So Andrews.
you're praying that he is ruled out, aren't you?
No, I need him to go badly. Like in the other dynasty I'm in, I'm the 1 seed, and it's a 1 QB league. He's my only quarterback. I have no other quarterbacks to play. If he doesn't go, I'm toast. Like I need him to play.
Well, if he doesn't play, then I have 0 quarterbacks in a super flex.
I know, but you've already down to 1 quarterback. So I'm like, if I, a decent game out of Lamar Jackson, and let's say, that's it because you have no other quarterback to play, and you just maybe I get lucky, But I can't lose both of my dynasties that's this week. I'll be completely bummed. And the problem though is I'm facing the guy that beat me in the last week of the regular season in this league. So he's already beat me once, and now we're in the semis together. So I'm like, dude, I can't have you beat me twice in 1 year. That's the only thing I don't like about playoffs.
What, when you lose, you're done?
When you lose, you're done. It's over.
It is brutal, especially when you lose in your biggest one. Oh,
yeah, I'm excited in this one because last year in our Roto Heat Superflex, I just couldn't get anything going, so I wound up selling a bunch of pieces. But this year, I got lucky and things went the right way. Problem though is, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 starting quarterbacks in this league. Not that they're good. I'm just saying I have 5 startable quarterbacks this week, and Jared Goff's always so up and down. Where I'm like, do I want to think about starting a guy like, Eli Manning against a crappy Miami defense, And I'm like, I can't do it. I got to go Goff. Gardner Minshew is the obviously on this team because he's on every team of mine. But he's going against a crappy Raiders defense. It's like, this is the playoffs. I can't be risking any of these. So I was like, I'll go with Goff, but he'll screw me, and then I'll be pissed, and I'll have to fly out to California and punch him in his face.
Oh, that's hilarious. Man, it's quiet tonight. It's quiet tonight. This is what happens when 3/4 of fantasy football players are eliminated. when you're down to 4 teams in every league, or most leagues, there's less guys that are interested in watching Rick and Brad talk playoffs because they're hurt. They're not happy. They've
given up hope.
I play enough leagues that I have to be pretty bad to not get to this spot in at least a couple.
I know. Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, I've had a lot of guys direct message me this week asking questions and things like that. Like, there always gets that point once your season is over that you kind of like check out of fantasy football for a few weeks. Like in a couple of these leagues that I've lost, like I haven't logged in yet this week, or I haven't started. I haven't looked to see where things are at. And it's like everyone seems to kind of get that way, but now that we're pumping out all this rookie content, like I just changed gears. I just said, all right, well I'll set my lineups and I'm now focusing on rookie.
I will tell you. So basically what happens is all the leagues finish on the 22nd, I think is the last day, or 24th or something like that, whatever day it is. So then I take a couple days. I start getting all the payouts together, making sure that all the money's right and I've got the right amount for everybody. Everything's adding up. I have over $20,000 I have to make sure is right. Um, and then probably 40 people that I pay out. So I do that, and then the week after that, like nothing. There'll be nothing. I don't care. I don't. I want to release content, but no, I'm taking a refresher for a week, and if we have stuff done before, I can schedule it before that. But I'm not touching a damn thing fantasy football related for a week. I have the other
We
51
got
weeks of the year for fantasy football. I will take one at the beginning of the year to refresh, and um, that's definitely it. Craig says Hunter Henry or Mark Andrews. So we just talked Tennessee. They played
Tennessee's facing Houston,
Houston, and then Baltimore plays tomorrow night versus.
but he said Hunter Henry, so that's the Chargers. They're facing Minnesota.
Oh yeah, what am I thinking? Uh, yeah. So Henry versus Minnesota or Andrews versus who the hell does Baltimore play tomorrow?
Jets.
Jets. We talked about this last week. Did Jamal Adams end up suiting up last week?
No.
He didn't.
I don't
Is he
think
going to
he
be
did.
out this week? Because Jamal Adams definitely makes a difference. Um,
Got an ankle injury. Let's see on the injury report. He is. Mark Andrews is questionable. Jamal Adams is doubtful.
Jamal Adams is doubtful.
Yeah.
I might lean Hunter Henry in that situation.
Yeah. Well, and with Mark Andrews questionable, I mean that makes it tough to want to play him.
Yeah, but
You
he's
know,
questionable.
every week.
His questionable tag has a questionable tag. Um, I think I go Hunter Henry, and it's not pretty, but I think that's the route
Was
that I would
Minnesota
go.
against tight ends? Let's see here.
Michael Vanderkoon says Sony or James White, and then he cries his eyes out. Um, we talked. They have the
Fair.
Bengals. Uh, I probably go Sony. I don't see them throwing the ball as much, and that's what you need for James White to be um, really helpful. But it's that Patriots backfield that I thought was going to get cleaned up a little bit, but is just muddier than it's ever been.
It's bad. Yeah, I mean, I probably going back to the Hunter Henry. I probably do Hunter Henry as well, just because when you look at the Vikings, they've given up some big games. I mean, Austin Hooper got over 20 points. Darren
Waller,
Waller had a big game. Evan Ingram had a decent game. Zach Ertz had a decent. Well, Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert had a decent game. Kelsey, Noah Fant, Jacob Hollister. I mean, should be good for Hunter Henry.
yeah, I'm going Hunter Henry there for sure. And
Yeah.
Craig, just so you know, I will get you an email in the morning. I got swamped. I will get that to you in the morning, and we'll take care of that. But
And
L.J.
that's the bowl.
McVay says Gardner Minshew or Philip Rivers.
Uh, Minshew's going against Oakland, whose defense is terrible. Minnesota's defense isn't bad, and they're playing for a playoff spot. And Philip Rivers has been turnover friendly here. I think I'd lean towards Minshew, but I don't know, man.
It's your boy Minshew. You ain't picking against your boy Minshew. The
Sad.
the Vikings secondary is not nearly as scary as their run stopping. Um, the other thing to think about Gardner Minshew is that I got a notification today. Is DJ Shark gonna play? Um, there's that.
So,
If Shark doesn't play, then you're down to Westbrook and Conley. Do you feel comfortable with that? I mean, that's a team that just I don't know. I don't know. I probably go with Rivers just because I trust him more. but it could go either way. Those are the situations that suck because, I mean, I'll just tell you guys, I sat Drew Brees versus San Francisco last week and played Ryan Fitzpatrick, who moved the ball well, but they kicked 7 field goals. So there was a 25-point difference there, which gets me into the semifinals. That same bench, I had Emmanuel Sanders sitting there. Yeah. Cali Dude says he made it to the semifinals. Congratulations, bud. I hope we played a small part in helping you get there. Or a big part. I mean, that's even better for us. Make sure you find us on Facebook and write a review on us. Recommend us to your friends.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, and that's the thing that that's the thing that drives you nuts about fantasy football is those ones that got away because you left whoever on the bench. I mean, it happens to all of us.
And the thing is a lot of people, that they would be upset. Like, how did I sit Brees? Like, I think it's the absolute right play last week. I mean, we could not have seen that type of explosion coming against San Francisco. Not the way San Francisco has played. And we know that Drew Brees is up and down and he's capable of those big games, but that wasn't the spot that I would have been picking for Drew Brees to have that big game. So I don't feel bad about that at all. I don't feel bad. Emmanuel Sanders hadn't done anything, so I don't feel bad about having him on the bench. Like, I was happy playing Alshon and Tyler Lockett over him. It obviously didn't work, but I would rather, I tell people this all the time, and this goes back to my poker days, is that you have to trust the process, and it sucks when the process happens in the playoffs, but you have to trust the process. And if you feel like you're making the right moves and it backfires, then it happens. If you fold aces and you lose, then and you would have lost, then it was the right move.
Right.
But if you fold another hand and just because it was like, let's say you know play Jack 10 when you shouldn't and it wins, doesn't mean it was a good play. So trust the process. Michael Vanderkuhn says DeAndre Washington or Cohen. People are really on this DeAndre Washington bandwagon. I didn't even like him as the backup in the Raiders backfield before last week, but Josh Jacobs looks like he's going to be back, so it's going to be Cohen for you because DeAndre Washington means nothing when Josh Jacobs is playing.
Yep.
And again, he had was it a 17-yard touchdown? So 7.7, a third of his points came on one carry, and he got a bunch of carries, so I don't like the skill. He's had an opportunity to be the back there multiple times and has never been able to hold on to that job. So I don't trust him at all. So what other news do we got? We know LeVeon Bell is not happy with the amount of touches that he's getting, but this dude sits out a week because of the flu. They wouldn't let him play. He wanted to play. So this ain't a Le'Veon Bell was sitting out because he's upset move. But the dude goes bowling with his family Saturday night and bowls a 251 for his career high. And then tweets out that this is the flu game. And I think it's funny. People hate on Le'Veon Bell so much. I love the dude. I think he's great. But I agree. We were talking at the beginning of the season, I gave Gase a little leeway because he did not have talent in Miami, and you never know how, that's going to play out if he's actually got some talent around him. I don't think he's a good coach now. I think he's a very bad coach. He's never liked giving his best players the amount of touches that they need. Think back a year ago when Kenyon Drake couldn't get more than 11 touches a game, and he still ended up our running back 14 for PPR purposes.
Right.
He does not like using his best running back. Go back to Matt Forte. Matt Forte had some of his worst years, or one of his worst years with Gase as the guy. And then he moves on to the Jets and plays well again. So it wasn't like he was done. So yeah, I understand Le'Veon's frustrations because that team needs him to get touches.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Adam Gase just doesn't make any sense to me how he keeps getting jobs. Like he just keeps he's not good. Like he may be a good offensive coordinator or he may listen to Peyton Manning pretty well, but that doesn't make you a good head coach. And this team, I hope for the best for fantasy owners. Like Le'Veon Bell is like at the tail end of his prime. I hate to see them waste such a really talented running back, but I don't know. We'll see. If not, obviously he has a pro bowling career ahead of him. So
The thing with Gase is that he came to Chicago and they had a pretty good offensive season, but you also had Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey on the outsides in that offense, and I believe Martellus Bennett over the middle having a pretty good season, and then Matt Forte in the backfield who was good when he got the touches, um, but yeah, I mean, this dude made his name off of being the offensive coordinator when Peyton Manning threw for 50 touchdowns in Denver and has lived off of that ever since. And we know that the offensive coordinator in a Peyton Manning led offense means about as much as, me wearing an NFL jersey. It doesn't mean I play in the NFL.
true story. Because that's the truth. I mean, think about all those times in Indy. I mean, what was the backup quarterback's name? Curtis Painter. I mean, the dude had a career backup gig in Indy just to make sure that Mr. Manning had fresh bottles of water when he got off the field, or whatever he was doing. I mean, anyone on the offense when Peyton Manning's around, you just shut up and listen and
Yeah,
do what you're told.
do what he tells you to do.
You know?
What other questions we got out there, people? And what other news do we got, Brad? You got any more news for us?
Um, yeah, I mean now that we're getting closer to the end of the season, you're seeing teams start to talk about, guys that might get moved in the off season. Like you're hearing rumors about, Urban Meyer to the Cowboys and things like that. But I mean, so we're getting close to that season or the time of the year where, you're hearing rumors more than you're hearing actual news, and you're starting to hear, college football declarations, guys that are actually going to be going into the draft. So anything official, nothing terribly exciting. You've got other guys going to IR, like Richard Sherman's potentially done for the year on the defensive side, but nothing that's like we got to talk about this. Uh,
So, basically, what we're saying is you need to get over to YouTube if you're not on YouTube right now. And we dropped the DeAndre Swift Part 1 college evaluation. We looked and we all watched tape. We had 7 of us that went through his tape and broke down 5 different categories. And we're gonna do this for every position, for every player that we have on our list. But we broke that down and compiled an average for each trait, and then we put the averages of all those traits together for an overall rating. So it's not like one guy is rating these guys. It's not just my personal opinion or Brad's personal opinion. We've got 7 of them, and going forward, we will have at least 8 because we've added another member to the rookie team. So, this content it isn't like a lot that's out there where it's just, one person giving an opinion on somebody. We all seen different things, and that's the interesting point that I wanted to make because I'm big on groupthink. I think the more of us that put our heads together, the better shot we have at having success. So that's the route that we're going with this rookie content. You can also read the full article on rotoheat.com right there on the main page right now. So make sure you head over there and check that out. And the video's on there too, so you can get both in one.
yeah, yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we've got a laundry list. We're gonna start. We started with Swift, and we got AJ Dillon coming up next. I mean, there's a lot of good college guys coming out that it'll be interesting to see how the team rates them. I've seen some of the guys are jumping around and looking at different guys' tape, and it's interesting to see our views on them. I mean, even the DeAndre Swift one, it was how much of a difference there was in some people's opinions of him. So, but it's fun to do. I'm excited to see this rookie class and get going into the off season and help people get their get the most out of their rookie drafts.
Absolutely. So, what other questions you guys have?
All I see is your comment. I don't know who you're talking to. That's pretty awesome, though.
Michael Vanderkuen said, I saw the YouTube video on Swift. It would be nice to have some tape in it showing some of the skills or lack of skills. Other than that, it was good. And using that tape is copyright infringement. And we tried that when we first started releasing breakdown videos. And when you upload a video with copyrighted material from a big organization like the NCAA or the NFL, you get a message within 5 minutes saying you have infringed on the NFL's copyrights and must remove this from your videos.
Immediately.
Where is Beckham heading next year? LJ McVay says. I don't know, but hopefully somewhere that doesn't completely blow.
Man, poor Cleveland. They just fell apart. I mean, it's not. They just can't keep people there. They can't keep them happy, But I don't know. He fits in. He could fit in a lot of places, but now we're getting to the point where he is now almost 3 years removed from a really successful fantasy campaign. Like, is it at a point where his hype's just getting worth more than the player's actual value?
I don't think so. I still think he's a top 3 wide receiver talent in the NFL. I think that it's the situation, how bad the offense has been. Now, I mean, you've got Baker throwing the training staff under the bus because there's this injury that he's got that nobody knows what's going on. It's just a mess, and you don't. The thing that I like about OBJ is that he wants to get the ball. He got paid a lot of money, and he could just be like, I don't give a shit, but he does. He wants to make plays. He wants to help your team. And the last 2 seasons, it has been non-existent between Eli Manning and Baker Mayfield. And, remember that argument in the offseason that OBJ there was going to hurt our boy Landry? And I was like, no, do you not understand that opens it up for Landry? Just having OBJ on the outside, opens it up for everybody else. And Landry's had a really good year, but as bad as OBJ has been, as bad as this whole thing has been, I don't know how it is after this week. Going into last week's games, he was wide receiver 25. All my leagues have 3. You start at least 3 wide receivers. He's been a startable wide receiver. It's been up and down at times, but at least he's mostly been consistent in that 10 to 12 range. So there is a silver lining there. Like, if he can be this bad and you're this angry, but he's still, a wide receiver, a top end wide receiver 3, what happens if he does get into an offense that moves well and he clicks with the quarterback? The dude's going to be a wide receiver 1 again.
Right.
Maybe the wide receiver 1 overall.
Yeah, you're probably. I mean, I can't knock you for it. I mean, it's probably the truth.
Let's think about this, okay? Because we had this discussion earlier. People were talking about. Somebody asked Allen Robinson what was he worth in draft picks, and we've had this talk, right, about DJ Shark being worth 2 first, but you're telling me that Allen Robinson's not?
He's got to be. I mean,
Allen Robinson is easily worth 2 first. He's 26. He's got multiple seasons, and the only quarterbacks he's ever had are Chase Daniels, Mitch Trubisky, and Blake Bortles.
Wah, wah.
Same thing for OBJ. Eli Manning, and then a bad season from Baker Mayfield. What would happen if it was OBJ and Michael Thomas's spot over in for the Saints? What would happen if Allen Robinson was catching passes from Russell Wilson?
That'd be ridiculous.
these guys are the talent is there. I think Allen Robinson is the top 6 talent in the NFL at wide receiver, but he's also had bottom like he's had like like
Terrible quarterback play.
32nd ranked quarterback play over the course of his career. So it's it sucks for those guys because I think the talent's there. Um, we see some of these guys get out of those situations and then they flourish. And their situations aren't like. See, that's the bad thing. Jacksonville had a great defense while he was there, for a portion of when he was there. And then the Bears defense has been good, so they're not like garbage time like Mike Evans and Jameis Winston have been a lot of times for the Buccaneers. Like when you have a bad quarterback, but he gets to throw the ball 45 times, you can put up a lot of points. When you're putting up those points with bad quarterback play, um, in situations like Robinson has been in, I just think you deserve more credit than what you're getting. And it's not just I loved him when he was in Jacksonville, so it's not like it's just because he's in Chicago that's why I feel that way. But I mean, you look at the quarterback play overall, and then last year he was coming back from that injury, so it takes some time to get your speed back. But the dude's a monster.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Man, it's really quiet tonight. Why'd you guys all lose in your fantasy playoffs last week and don't have no questions this week? Um,
This might be the first time all season that we get done in an hour.
yep, we're calling it right now. Unless you get a question in the next 2 minutes, it's over. It is over.
Yeah,
Normally, this is half the time we normally spend on it.
it's nice.
Yeah, I
We've been
like
we've
it.
been going hard. We've been going hard all season on these things, so
Well,
it's nice to get a little chill.
I went an hour and 45 minutes Sunday morning.
Did you really?
Yeah,
A lot of
and
questions.
dude, it started out super fast. Like there was a lot of people asking questions. I could barely keep up with it on my own. We already talked that one, Michael. Deon, we're not starting DeAndre Washington with Jacobs back. Jacobs probably gonna play, so I'm playing Cohen. We did answer that one a while back though when you asked. Not ignoring you, I promise.
Yeah, no.
Even though I want to half the time. He's the Bears fan that I always argue with. Like I don't deal with like all the excuses. Like you're paid to play and do well, do what you're supposed to do. Um, it, if Jacobs is out, then I'm starting Washington just because I know he'll get more touches than Cohen. But we're assuming Jacobs is going to be back. It sounds like he's going to be back. Um, but yeah, me and Michael disagree on the Bears a lot. It's funny.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
Oh, and then he's trying to get me to buy his Kansas City Chiefs Bears tickets for December 22nd, and it's colder than balls. I can't do it, Michael. I'm sorry. I really want to go to a game, but I think I'll go at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that sitting outside in the cold weather business. I'd rather just sit inside my warm living room with my
Right? If it was a
7-inch TV.
if they had a dome in Chicago, it'd be a different story, but we know they don't have that. Um,
No, they have the windiest stadium.
right. Maybe if the tickets are a third of the price, I would consider it, but I can't do that. Deal is basically done. I'm just curious of your predictions on Moore with next year's QB and new head coach. Uh, DJ Moore is a monster. DJ Moore is a monster. I love it. I don't know what your deal was. I don't know if I missed it. Did I miss it? I don't
What
see I don't see the trade anywhere. But I do love DJ Moore. So I would have to know more about the trade, Isaiah, to know if I like the trade. But yeah, Michael told me that he liked the cold games. I'm like, you're nuts. I went to game 4 of the World Series in 2012 in Detroit and froze my ass off. And that was like
Yeah, no.
what like the end of October, beginning of November, not December 22nd in Chicago with the wind coming in off of Michigan Lake. Like, no,
Not
thank
touching
you. I ended up okay. So we bundled up before we went, right? But we get there and it's so freaking cold. I end up spending like $111 on a hoodie, and then I had to buy a $38 stocking cap because I was so freaking cold. And then we buy this nasty ass hot chocolate that was like water with like drops of chocolate in it. It was the worst experience ever. Whoa, 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 whoa. You are trading the 109 straight up for DJ Moore? Yes, please.
Oh yeah, I'd do that.
Yes, please. Take it every day. If he offered it to you, smash accept before he changes his mind. Do it. DJ Moore's good. He's going to be good. I like it.
Well, yeah, they're gonna have a new staff next year and a new quarterback. I mean, it'll go well for him.
Like Michael said, he went to one of the coldest Bears games ever. It was supposed to be the coldest, but ended up being warmer by a few degrees. It was a few years ago. I don't even get cold very often. Like I'm the kind like I sweat when it's like 60 degrees. So, but that as cold as that baseball game was, sitting out in that open with the wind and everything, like it was miserable. It was great though. That was one of the best experiences of my life. I got to see a team win the World Series live, and
Yeah.
watching 35, 40 grown ass men storm the field like they're in little league. Like me being a baseball fan and being a baseball player when I was younger, it just like made my stomach sink. Even though I would have rather seen it be the Tigers, but it was still just a real cool experience. It was one of the best. Um, but actually, 2 years ago, me and my dad had tickets to go to a Cubs Braves game, and it was early in the season, and like there was like it was colder than balls, and it ended up like it was sleeting for most of the game. The Cubs were down 10-1, and they came back to win, and we didn't go to the game. But we would have left when it was 10-1. We would have been like, "This, it's cold," and they ended up coming back to win.
That's wild. That'd have been a cool game to see. I mean, that'd have been cool
Yeah, it
to.
would have been a really cool experience. Michael says, "Where does DJ Moore go to? Um, where does Moore go in startups?" I'm gonna say right
Well,
around the 36 mark, right around that like round three, round four turn. I think is where he's gonna be. He may end up being a top 30, especially if they make a quarterback move.
so let's see here. Um, Originally, we had him listed in the when I go to rotoheat.com and look at our rankings. DJ Moore was the 36 overall. He'd be the number 17th ranked receiver.
Boom! I didn't even have to look. Bang,
Uh,
bang, bang.
yeah. So Rick called it.
See, here's the thing. If they end up going into the season with Kyle Allen, he might drop a little bit. So you might see him closer to the 40 area. If they bring in a quarterback that we like, he might be 28. So I think there's going to be a range there depending on where that quarterback situation happens. Craig says he's got
Yeah.
another one. What do you got for us, Craig? What do you got for us? So, Michael, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think it matters where the quarterback goes. Or where they go with quarterback is what I'm trying to say. I'm just glad that Trubisky started playing better because I would rather have Trubisky than Cam Newton. So if Trubisky plays well enough that they don't pursue Cam Newton, I'm happy with even if he is terrible again next year. Um, would you bench
Agreed.
would you bench Henry or Waller for Njoku? Question mark. No. Nope. 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 I'm playing
Say
Henry and Waller.
Waller for Joku? No.
Do you play Njoku over Hunter Henry or Waller?
No, and Njoku's fighting a knee injury. I think he sat out of practice today with his knee injury. Like came back from a wrist injury and got a knee injury. Like I'm good. I won't play him again this year and just wait. I
Um,
have him in a couple spots, but
I'm fine if Michael says true, but Pace will sign Mariota. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having Mariota as the backup. If Mitch Trubisky sucks and I put in Mariota, I feel better than I do with Chase Daniels. So I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind having Trubisky and Mariota on the team at the same time. So that doesn't bother me. Um, yeah, that Arizona flow chart only works when you get a guy that actually gets action. We seen it last week. What did Vance McDonald do? 1.8 points, I think, against Arizona. So you need a guy that gets a little action. Craig says Mixon or Barkley, and does either of them start over Sutton in my flex in a point 0.5 PPR? Mixon is
He's
balling
against New
out
England.
right now.
He's going against New England though.
But their rush defense isn't as good as their pass defense. Their rush defense looked really, really good at the beginning of the year because of the teams that they faced. I mean, when you're facing Miami and just hot garbage, and
Right.
Frank Gore, Frank Gore played most of the first game against them. It wasn't Devin Singletary. Um, that definitely slants that whole rushing attack that they've got. It's not as good as that the stats would show. Their whole defense isn't as good as their stats would show, but their pass defense is where I get. I mean, their cover corners are really good. So that worries me more.
Barkley's going against Miami though this week.
Barkley, yes, I would probably play Mixon and Barkley.
Yeah, Sutton, I don't know about this week. Sutton, Denver's going against. Who is Denver going against?
I just looked at it when I had that up.
No, we just talked about it. I'm now drawing a blank. Let's see here. Denver's going against Kansas City. It's not terrible.
Oh man, that is a tough
It's not
decision to
terrible, but
make.
it's
Can you believe that we're one year later and we are thinking about benching Barkley in the fantasy playoffs? And it's
wow.
not, and you're not crazy for thinking about it.
Well, he hasn't bounced back from his injury very well. I mean, it's been a
Yeah,
rough year for him.
Craig, we're
And
gonna have to talk about this one Sunday morning because I'm gonna have to think about this one more. I probably still go Mixon and Barkley. I probably start Mixon and Barkley because we know they're going to get touches. Drew Lock was great last week, but do we trust Drew Lock yet? And he likes Noah Fant. We know that. Um,
yeah, well, he liked Sutton week one. I mean, Sutton had 2 touchdowns
well,
on
but it was like
4 catches.
yeah, I was gonna say, but it was like two plays and
Right.
nothing other than that.
Yeah.
Fant was what he had. I don't know how many. I think he had 7 targets, 4 catches for 113 or whatever it was. Um,
Well, I mean, Sutton's still averaging about the same amount of targets he was averaging before. He had 7 targets last week and 5 the week before. It's just, he's a little bit up and down, but I think I'd go with a running back just because that Barkley's going to get the ball.
that's
Mixon's
my thing. They're going to get touches, and Mixon's balling out right now. Like I love it because I bought him. Well, I didn't really buy him. I had Amari Cooper, and I got Joe Mixon plus a 2020 first and a couple other little things for him. And when people were like extremely low on him, and I'm like, dude, this dude was worth the same amount as Cooper at the beginning of the year. And Cincinnati's just bad. He's not bad, but he's been balling out lately, and it makes me look and feel better. So I like it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, Craig, we'll definitely talk about that one because that's not an easy one. That's a tough one. Oh man, I've got some tough ones too. I'm gonna have to figure out. So we'll have to shoot some stuff back and forth because I'll have some questions. Get your opinion on too.
My lineups are already set. Not
Oh,
changing them.
just wait. The only thing I'm waiting for the Roto Heat hats is that um, I'm getting some Brander Mind ones in, but I'm going to take pictures of it so that I can edit in the Roto Heat stuff because they don't give me any pictures of the back of what the back's gonna look like. So it's like
Yeah, you got
it's
to have.
it's like
I would.
curved.
Yeah, I would like to say Roto Heat back here because I wear my hat backwards a lot. So you say Roto Heat here and have the logo. I'd be all right.
Yep, it'll say Roto Heat right across the back, but I got to get some and then finagle some pictures so that people know what it looks like, and then I'll take some better pictures once they come in. But
I don't care. I'll
yeah,
wear it. I'll wear it. Doesn't
Yep.
matter.
I just ordered some stuff. I just ordered a couple jackets. I ordered everybody on my team a jacket for Christmas, and uh, got some hats and whatnot for Brand or mine. So I figured I could use those to kind of take some pictures and whatnot.
Maybe next year I'll be on that team.
Dude, I'm hoping so. Keep going. I gave our boy Craig a great deal. Um, but I'm gonna help him grow into a huge company, so I make a lot of money off of him.
That's how it works. You help him grow, he'll help you grow.
Hells yeah. Um, I just got to get this other big deal done and quit getting pushed back 6 months.
That does pose problems.
We are going to see, though. I do go in and sign the contract with the Better Business Bureau on Friday, so
Oh, that's sweet.
get that done and then see what happens. So
Oh, that'd be
I
helpful.
don't know. Do we have any more questions? I'll quit talking about me.
Hey, you know what?
We did.
This has been a really good season. We've worked real hard. We've put out a ton of content. We've helped a lot of people. We're gonna talk about ourselves. All right. That's just what we take a little time to puff up the chest a little bit. We got a great team. Things have come along. Early in the year, we got off to a little bit of a shaky start, and we hit the ground after that. We've been working hard. It's been a good season.
Yes, it has been. I'm not going to. Oh, for the baseball fans out there, Anthony Rendon signs a 7-year, $245 million deal with the Angels.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So now that I see that, the Cubs are trying to trade Chris Bryant right now, um, and he's going to be a $300 million player, which is stupid.
That is, yeah.
We could have a whole discussion on that because I think they're worth it, most of them, but because of the amount of money they bring in. But
Yeah, I mean, in most cases they are. I'm surprised. Cubs, I don't know. I can't say much. My team has just been ridiculous. I wish they would just blow this thing up. I wish the kids would sell this team and get it out of the way, and Alavila would stop trying to run us into the ground. Like I couldn't believe when Baltimore released what's his name? Oh crap. The second baseman. Detroit should have put a waiver claim in on
Villar,
him. Yeah. We should have put a waiver claim in on him because even if you just keep him till the trade deadline and trade him for prospects, because Detroit's in a rebuild, like I was like, you guys are the number one waiver priority, like easily pick that guy up. No, we let him go and he goes, and someone else picks him up. Like I can't figure out what the Tigers are trying to do because it ain't winning, that's for sure.
yeah, okay. I think uh, I think that's all the questions for tonight. It ended up being you guys do it. We try to get out in under an hour, and you guys say no, and then but we're only like an hour and 8 minutes right now, so it's not as bad as normal.
Oh,
So I'll
yeah.
take it.
Oh,
I'm gonna try to get a good night's sleep so I can get up and kill work and get stuff to people I need to get stuff to, and
yeah.
and yeah, I appreciate everybody that stopped by. As we said, the Deon DeAndre Swift video is up on YouTube.
Jan Warwick video.
um, and we got more rookie content coming, so make sure you get subscribed over there. The article is up on the website on rotoheat.com, so make sure you get over there. We're going to be getting a lot more rookie content out. So I also sent out an email newsletter to our subscribers today with some of the latest articles that we've dropped, and I'll continue to do that now that we've got a subscriber list built up. And if Brad doesn't have anything else to add,
Take it easy, people. Thank you for coming out.
later.